So
man, I don't know what to say.
you don't need to say anything.
Oh my goodness, that is gorgeous.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing.
Wow, that is beautiful. Beautiful, oh man.
If you'd like to follow the process of turning a block of wood like this into a guitar like this, then you've come to the right place. And if you would like to see me give this guitar away, click subscribe, hit the bell. Well, Corwin, we need to do a death march now. All right, well, Happy New Year. Actually, it is the morning of the new year, so yeah, because when this is posted anyway, because right now it is actually not New Year's, but it'll be posted on Friday morning the 31st, so we'll just say Happy New Year now. I'm here with Corwin, and we are going to have some fun stuff today because we are going to, first off, take the clamp off of his Telecaster style guitar where we had chipped off the piece of wood. We're going to try and fix that, take care of that, see what that looks like. And then we are going to start putting binding on the guitar. And that's kind of a fun project for me. I like putting binding on. I like how it just makes things look crisp and clean, and you start to see things to come together. For the most part, we have all of Corwin's guitar routed out here. There's one last thing to do, and that is he is going to want to put on some binding, a pearl binding on the edge. So the way that I have figured out to do that, these two router bits pretty much look the same, because they are the same, except what I did was I took a smaller bearing. You can see the bearing size on there is different, and that allows this bit to cut just deep enough for the width of this. So we will route all the way around the body now so that this can go on there. So if what you could do, grab that pencil, and I just need one small place where this is just at the top or just sticking up. I mean, it's okay if it sticks up a little bit, but are we there? Okay, is that good?
Just trace the bottom?
Yep, just trace the bottom.
Do we want the blade to be
Here.
flush with the pencil line?
We want, yeah, the bottom of the blade here. This will help.
We got like a lot to go.
A little bit to go yet, huh? So, right there. That looks right, huh?
Yep, that looks all right.
Good?
Yep.
Okay. Once I tighten that, I check it again because sometimes tightening it changes the depth. Looks good?
Yep.
Okay. I just need to make sure that I'm tied up against the body the whole time and that I don't tip it slightly one way or the other, like you just did my camera. Okay. So grab my glasses. I'm going to turn on, I've got an outside light right here. I'll turn that on. See if that helps at all. Oh, maybe it helps a little bit. I believe your guitar is done being routed.
Wow.
The rest of it will be shaping and stuff, but it's done with the route.
My rough idea.
Oh, look at this. This is his rough idea.
I traced out a normal Fender Telecaster on Procreate on my iPad.
Yeah. Listen, I like the curly maple look there.
Yep.
So, and it's kind of the white. So he's talking about doing like a white.
Like a white or a light gray or something.
White, grayish. And it might end up being kind of a grayish.
Yeah.
With some of that. Hey, I like the pick guard too, just kind of that.
I took a normal Fender pick guard, but I basically just cut it here, so you can still see the stripes all the way through.
I like that.
It still works as a pick guard because it's...
Which we could do, yeah.
Yep.
And we could make that of plastic, or we could do it of wood if you wanted to do something like that too. I mean, there are different possibilities that we could do with that. So
Yep.
that's pretty sweet looking. I like that. Can you all see that?
And then
Corwin's idea here.
the yellow will just be the gold hardware.
And you've only got one pickup on there, but I'm assuming that. Are you going to put a gold pickup there too, or is that
Probably, I'm guessing.
okay?
I wasn't sure what the style of pickup. We're going humbucker, right?
Yeah, it'll be a humbucker.
Okay.
So, okay, go ahead and take this off. We're going to very carefully take the part out that we don't need to have. But I'm wondering actually if maybe it's a better idea for us to sand with it on and then cut it
out. Yeah.
and then sand. So let's go do that. All right, so I'm going to have you sand it. I put some 120 grit on. Take it, but like kind of work. Actually, as you can see, this whole back needs to be slightly sanded. So let's just go ahead and sand it. Just keep it flat. This is a very sharp saw.
Serrated, yep.
Yep. So just gonna come along here and just do a very easy. It's just gonna take a little bit. I think before you do that though, I am going to score one side so that if it were to chip off, it will chip off even. And
just do that one.
are you saying, can we just do it with this?
Yeah.
Possibly.
Just be very careful.
Might be able to. But if we can actually just cut through it, we might do so. I don't know that I'm gonna be able to. Okay, here, I'll have you hold it. I'll try the saw once. Okay, we're gonna have to just clean up that edge. It just kind of looks like wood grain. Yeah. The next thing I need you to do is very carefully take a look at these edges, and if you just see frayed pieces of wood that are just kind of sticking out, we just need to carefully, sand them off. Okay. So just take a look at it first. Okay, we are going to work on putting the binding on, which hopefully we do it right the first time here, because otherwise we're gonna have to order more, because this is all I have of this pearl white binding. We've got enough to do the guitar, so we'll just set this aside for a moment and let's talk through some details of how to put binding on. First thing to ask, how do you think we are going to make that binding stick to the wood? What are your thoughts?
First thought was resin, but I thought that might get a bit too goopy at the ends if we use too much. I see super glue right there. There is super glue here. Some people actually use, and this is a super glue, but some people do use a CA glue, which is kind of like a super glue. It's like a crafting glue. Oh, yeah.
Okay, a CA glue. So you can use a CA glue. If you use CA glue, we would not do it at this point. And the reason is because if we use glue on here and the glue touches up here by chance, it'll soak into the pores, and then you're exactly right when you were talking about staining and stuff. What would happen is we'd go to stain it and that part wouldn't stain. You can use CA glue, but you would first stain it
before you put
it on, and then you would have to seal it. So what we are going to use is acetone, and that's right here. So
sounds dangerous.
It sounds really dangerous, doesn't it? It's a powerful thinning solvent, which is something that you don't want to wash your hands in it. In fact, it would soak into your blood very quickly and probably get you a little bit buzzy feeling and really strange. What this does is acetone slightly melts the plastic.
Oh.
And it actually makes it so that the plastic itself will stick into the edge here and stick. So this is one of the most common ways that you do binding. We're going to start on that end, and what we're going to do is we'll use a little brush. I'll put some of the acetone in here. We're going to use a brush, and then we will just brush it on. But before we do that, we want to make this as friendly to put on as possible, meaning we are going to pull out the heat gun. We're going to start down on that end where it's the most flat, and we're going to heat it up a little bit, and then we're going to let it cool. And then when it's cool, after it's been heated into this shape, it's going to retain that shape much better. And this is fairly thin, and if we were going to be using multiple layers, then we would probably have to heat it up before we even did some of this, okay? Don't bend this too hard yet here, because we're going to heat before we actually even start to bend it. Sometimes you need to heat it before. So these tighter corners here,
that risks snapping.
We are going to heat it before we bend it. When we're actually going to start using the acetone, we're going to get a bunch of this tape ready to go ahead of time. All right, so now I'm going to pull out the heat gun. Plenty good in there, yep, okay. I'm just going to shorten this up now. When I come around here, you're going to have another piece of tape ready to come up around this way, and then one will go here. Well, actually, you can probably put one there right now. And pull it tight so that's holding it. Yeah, so like when you put it on, pull it tight. Okay, I'm going to heat this up here. Don't touch me. Okay, go ahead right on this edge here. Boy, this really is kind of nice actually having 4 hands. Normally when I do this, I do it with just my 2 hands, and it's a little bit more tricky. Okay, now this is where, see, it's gonna start to bend, and it's, so I gotta really, okay, right in that corner. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do it like, push it down here, and then pull it like tight. And that's what we're gonna have to do. Once we actually do the acetone, you like stick it and then pull it tight so that's holding it good and tight. Now we're just gonna let it cool. And we'll be using these. Essentially think of the tape as clamps. You're going to be clamping it to the body. By the way, this little bit that I clipped off, we don't throw it away. I'll show you why later. We don't have to worry about this being on the wood at all, because it's going to dry up pretty quick actually. So we just do this, get a little bit on there, pull it in, and this is where I need to, now what I'm doing is I'm pulling it tight as I tape it, okay?
Yep.
And what's happening is the plastic of this is going to be melting into the wood grain itself. So actually I want to get a little bit on this too. It's destroyed my Band-Aid already. From the back, put it, wrap around the back first. There you go. And now pull the tape up and that way. There you go. I'm going to get my binding put on my guitar. Mine is a little bit thinner and narrower. My plan for this guitar is actually to not use stain. I'm just planning on finishing it natural. I don't know if you can see that or not, but this is the binding I'm going to be using. But as flexible as this is, I'm going to be able to just acetone, tape, and move it around. So that's what I'm going to do. You can watch me in high speed here, I guess. Okay, it is now the next day, and so we are 24 hours later. I'm going to rip this tape off quick and we will take a look at it. It is overall looking pretty good, but oh no, I've got to redo everything because this part didn't stick. It's true it didn't stick, but I don't have to redo everything. That's the nice thing about this acetone is so I just come in here, get it in there, and that part that wasn't, I'll be able to, just gonna hold it for a few moments, then I will retape it. Okay, otherwise it's looking pretty good. So we'll let that dry in there and stick in there. This is kind of what it's going to look like there. These stains, that'll just sand. This all needs to be sanded yet, so that's going to just sand just fine off. But otherwise I think that's going to look nice and thin. And then here's Corwin's. And again, Corwin's still, we got where you see these stain looking things, that'll sand off. But he's got a white binding on his. Thanks for coming and watching today. Once again, please like and subscribe. Would really appreciate it. And if you consider joining us on our endeavor of giving guitars away, then go check out my Patreon page. Keep fighting for joy. Hope your new year has a wonderful start and you are well blessed. Talk to you next time.